I was an overthinking, scaredy little cat, and now I am constantly stepping out of my comfort zone and pursuing my dream, working on my craft every single day, and I am gonna explain what I realized about learning. So, ultimately, mastery is only about do and think, and this has to be done in a chronological order. So, what does it mean to have a good do and a good think? So, let's start with do. So, what is considered a good action? Because do ultimately just translates to action that you do. So the most important thing that it is intentional. You have to do something that brings you to who the person you want to be. It has to bridge the gap between who you are now and who you want to be in the future. And to give an example, I started doing music like a few months ago, and it all started when I had the urge. And the first thing I do is I took action. So I downloaded the software and I just find a tutorial on how to use the software, the interface, and then I just sat down for like hours on that day and created the music. It is not the best music out there. Looking back, it is very bad, but it's about the idea of like I have the urge, I have the thought, and I'm gonna translate it to reality, and that is what it means to do, and that is what considered to be good action. So this is where it gets tricky because sometimes people think first before they do. So they like to question, they like to questions a lot. They like to question a lot, and they like to challenge the norm. They like to you know have their own ideology before even understanding what they are walking into, and that's why most people, I believe, fail. Is because they took the or they did the cycle wrongly, not in the right order. So the second step is the think. This is where I no longer just do, but I do and I think. The title is do versus think, but actually it's do and think. But because most people don't really know the chronological order yet, so I just place it as do versus think. But once you've reached a certain hours that you put into a certain skill when mastering something, you need to start to think. And one of the biggest difference between when I first started the music, like learning music, and now is that like at that time I just do, but then now I learn as much as I do. So I find tutorials on how to produce better, mastering, the techniques that I need to learn, and now I cannot just do to succeed. If I want to take this seriously, I need to think too. All right. So enough teasing of what is a good thinking. So let me start explaining what it means to think. So the next step after you do for most people is that you need to start to think. What I mean by thinking is not like challenging the experts. It's not to revolutionize something because you are nowhere as skillful as someone who can revolutionize a new concept. But what it means is that you question why it works that way. You question the pattern, you find the pattern. What it means by thinking ultimately is pattern recognition. You have to understand why that works and why you fail, why that is good and why you're not. Once you start to understand the thinking of, I would say, the greats or the masters, then you are essentially 50% there to becoming a master yourself. And once you reach that, you will be able to revolutionize a new concept. You bring a new perspective to the field. You contribute to the field more. But before all that, you have to first understand what it means. No, you have to first understand why the masters do it that way, why they think in that perspective. So to sum up the video, it's a pretty short video, but ultimately I just want people to pay attention, to understand what it means to do and think. Most people like to think, and that's where they have it backwards. They don't do first, they just think, and at the end you never translate to reality. And even when you translate to reality, you're just trying to put in so much thought that the hours are quite wasteful. It is not really useful because you are nowhere near as skillful to think of new ideas. You have to just first replicate and first understand the whole skill and the whole field. So that's pretty much from that's pretty much it for this video. I hope this video helps. Keep questioning, keep understanding the world, and enjoy the process. Peace.